Hare Krishna. So we'll continue our discussion on Srimad Bhagavatam, 14th chapter of Srimad Bhagavatam of first canto. The title of the chapter is Disappearance of Lord Krishna. So until previous chapter, like what happened is Dhritarashtra quits his home and Yudhishthir Maharaj was very disturbed, and Yudhishthir Maharaj was thinking that it is due to my ill treatment that Dhritarashtra has quit his home, and Dhritarashtra along with Gandhari and Vidura also left. So he was thinking in terms of how if unknowingly I might have committed any mistake or why they might have gone, and he was so much very depressed. So in that situation, Narada Muni comes forth and then he actually gives the news that no, he says how nobody is actually related to everybody. Everybody is on their own in this material world, and also Lord is the ultimate protector. You don't have to worry for the protection of your parents or your your what do you call your family members. So and also he gives the news, good news about how Dhritarashtra will attain the perfection of his life by uh, by attaining the impersonal Brahman like impersonal liberation. Mm. Why? Because impersonal liberation, because Dhritarashtra was not favorably inclined to Krishna's devotion. He is not a so-called devotee of Krishna. He is only, but he got the grace, he got the mercy of the devotees. He happened to listen from Vidura, he happened to listen from Sanjaya, entire Bhagavad Gita, and he was taking the constant association of Bhishma Dev, and he personally saw the Virat Rupa of Lord Krishna also when Lord Krishna visited uh, to no to about the Kurukshetra war message. When he came there, when Duryodhana thought of imprisoning Krishna, Krishna displayed his Virat Rupa, and Dhritarashtra requested Krishna, please give me a vision to see your Rupa. So Dhritarashtra had never seen anything in his life, and he only saw Krishna's form. And then he, after Krishna with so when after taking darshan of Krishna, he again loses his eyesight. So he's he has a lot of sukruti, like through to devotee association, devotee's mercy, and Krishna's darshan and everything, and hearing Srimad Bhagavad Gita. And the quality of Dhritarashtra is he know that he's not perfect. Internally he know that he's not doing meeting the standards, but he was resentful also sometimes. I know what is dharma, but I'm not able to follow it due to my conditioning. It is a situation of many of us. mm. Many of us want to follow the standards of bhakti yoga process, but we don't want. So even that kind of repentance also increases our devotion. mm. So we should be hankering, we should be thoughtful how we are missing the association of Krishna devotees, or if you are missing anything devotional program, we have to have that feeling. We have to have that. That is the indirect way of appreciating the greatness of the association of devotees or Krishna. Uh, so Dhritarashtra had that feelings. No, whenever he was feeling dejected, he used to call for Vidura and he used to hear from him, and he used to get solace by hearing this past this. Words from Vidura or Sanjaya. So, so that's how he attained the perfection at the end of his life. Not perfection in his for his level, where he is a son of a non-devotee, staunch non-devotee Duryodhana, and who is involved in so many crimes along with his son, no, like cheating Pandavas, and even though Draupadi is no insulted, Dhritarashtra didn't say anything, and even though Pandavas were so much, he was literally he was responsible for all those things, because as a king, only he has the ability to stop everything, but he couldn't do that. But by the mercy of Krishna, he has attained some position. Means he is even impersonal liberation in terms of Mayavadi terms. That is also great thing. But for devotees, liberation is equivalent to hellish punishment. Why hellish punishment? Because there is no active service to Krishna. There is no active reciprocation with Krishna. So impersonal liberation is only the absence of distress or anxieties. So that is the position of Dhritarashtra. So after hearing this from Narada Muni, Yudhishthir Maharaj gets consoled. That means he becomes peaceful. And Narada Muni says about many things, but he didn't mention about how Krishna has already departed from this planet. Why? Because we already discussed, right? Any bad news should not be propagated. Mm. Nowadays, that is the custom that all the news channels, anything bad happens, they will broadcast this news all over the world. Mm. So bad news, any news that is which is relevant to us, that will find its own accord to reach us. And if it is anything relevant to any person, it will find its own accord. It will find its own timing, its own circumstances. That news will reach the concerned person. But we should not actually, say any bad news. So propagate any bad news to any other, especially in the devotional circles. Mm. Because in Bhagavad Gita, Krishna says, right, one should not speak anything which agitates others' mind. Mm. So that's why Narada Muni also doesn't say anything about Krishna's departure, because Krishna is the life and soul of the Pandavas. So Narada Muni says, but we can give such a hints, like Narada Muni gives the hint that, oh, Krishna might also wind up his pastimes on this earthly planet and go back to Godhead. Such hint Narada Muni gives at the end of the last chapter, 14th chapter. So that way, like if some sudden news comes, like I actually um, experienced this, like like one of my relative has passed away, and means like just not relative actually to say. So and the news, the person who like I was in the boarding school, and one person came to take me to uh, for the last ride, something like that. So he actually said, your family is had some gathering and you want to come, and like your family is going on some vacation, so they would like to take you also, you please come, like that he took. So until I reach home, until actually personally see what has happened, nobody told what has happened. So but overall, like he that person gives the hint, like you have to be strong, so like some situational things he will speak on the way to that situation. So in the same way, Narada Muni did not give direct news that Krishna has already disappeared from this earthly planet, but he gave the hint that Krishna may also live, because he has done whatever he's thought of doing, which is pavitranaya sadhuna vinashaya chaduskritam. So so Krishna Krishna has done his job in this material world. Krishna wanted whatever he has planned to do. He has already completed everything, and he may leave also very soon. That's what he indicates. So some of the preachers says that after hearing this news from Narada Muni, Yudhishthir thought to sorry, Yudhishthir thought of knowing Krishna's plans ahead. Means what next now? Kurukshetra war is over. Excuse me. So and Pandavas, and also he got the hint from Narada Muni that Krishna will be leaving. So in order to find out what Krishna's plans are, so he sends Arjuna to find out from Krishna. So what they should be doing, what if they have to do anything, any service to him. So so at that point of time, uh, Arjuna goes to uh, Arjuna goes to Dwaraka, and then he didn't return to Hastinapur for considerably long time, for a few months. Mm. So while Arjuna was in Dwaraka, here Yudhishthir Maharaj was uh, uh, observing some fearful omens. Mm. So So mm, and Maharaj Yudhishthir, then seeing these omens, Maharaj Yudhishthir suspects, like something bad. Okay, so Yudhishthir Maharaj observes fearful changes in time and irregulations. Change in times and irregulation in the seasons. These are also the important factor. So these omens are like the nature's way of giving us indication that something good is happening, or something bad is going to happen, or something good is going to happen. Huh? So he observes fearful changes in time and regulations, or irregularities in the seasons. Means these are like bad omens. Okay, and peoples are becoming greedy. So people, like this, like we have to have a clear watch on the environment also, because if you see in India also we have environment department, like environmental department, or in US also weather is also considered as very prominent news of the day. So so they will be always watchful about this weather and seasons and everything. Okay, so any irregularities of the seasons is also, it's not it's a bad sign. Okay, and he observes people becoming greedy. Means greedy means they wanted, they're like even though they have so much money, they don't they are not willing to give charity, or they are not kind to their subordinates, or they are they are so much of self interest, selfish. Okay, and also uh, deceitful means exploitative nature. Mm. You are not giving whatever you have, means you are greedy, and you are trying to exploit, means you are trying to uh, uh, get whatever what others have for yourself. That exploitative nature, deceitful nature. And also they are he says foul means of livelihood. Mm. So so the one of the preachers says the foul means of living means, like it does not mean that something what he says is a higher varna in the varnashram system. Fall means a higher varna uh, taking in the service of a lower varna. Because if you see, if a brahmanas, they take up the service of the lower varnas, then the people in the lower varnas will become unemployed. Mm. So that's what happening nowadays, right? If you see in the corporate world, the nice brahmanas, they are writing, sitting in the computer system, and then writing programs for like sudra jobs, like like Ola, Uber cab. So these taxi drivers are sudras. Mm. They have to earn their own livelihood, and they this by this programmers, what they do, they actually, they are brahminical in nature. huh? And also if you see some corporate retail companies, they are investing so much, they are vaishyas, but they are also uh, taking up the sudra jobs also, through their employing machinery, or employing some managerial tactics like that. So and also Yudhishthira Maharaj observes strain and quarrelsome among the family members. Mm. So that was very you know that was like very strange thing in those days. The quarrel among family members, or strain among family members, is very rare thing. For suppose, for example, like it is said that when the first divorce happened in India, it was published in all over the country, that so and so person has got divorced. Okay. Means the divorce was such a heinous thing in those days. Means like if you see all our culture, there are situations where wife or husband, like if you see Ramayan, what is Ramayan? Lord Ram, in Ramayan, Lord Ram has had waged a great war to get back Sita, to get back his legitimate wife. And if you see Sati Savitri, she fought with Yamaraj to get the life of his husband back. Now here in this age, what you are doing, you just voluntarily giving up your relationship with your wife and husband. Means that the relationship between the wife and husband becomes so commercial and so cheap. Mm. And also the family relationship with the family members, like In those, even if in the animal kingdom, every mother tries her best to protect her children. No, it is said that the interest of the mother is the main interest of the mother is her child, not even her husband. Mm. So that kind of affection every living entity have for its own children. But here, the if you see a lot of abortions, no, like people are doing abortions left and right, killing her own children. Mm. So that is the grievous offense, the grievous heinous sinful act that is committed in this Kali Yuga. So those kind of quarrels among family members, and also brothers fighting for the wealth and petty reasons. So such kind of things, when they are actually the sign of degradation. So and Yudhishthira Maharaj was observing this, because at that point of time Kali Yuga is about to enter. Hmm. It is like in the Yuga Sandhya. Kali actually entered when Parikshit Maharaj, like Kali, it is said that Kali actually entered as soon as Krishna left this planet. Hmm. So Kali has already entered somewhere, but Yudhishthira Maharaj did not happen to see him. Hmm. So such kind of omens that Yudhishthira Maharaj was observing. So and Yudhishthira Maharaj was expecting something bad is going to happen in near future. Okay, and when he was thinking like that, he actually discussed with his another brother, younger brother, Bhimasen. He says about how all these, I could see a lot of bad omens everywhere. I could see fearfulness, deceitful people, and greed among the greed among the people, and also quarrels among the family members. So he mentioned that. Now he actually, he also says how he observes, Prakriti consists of five elements, right? Earth, water, fire, air, ether, and it interacts with the living entities through Adhyatmika, Adibhautika, and Adidaivika. Through the bodily influences, Adhyatmika, and body and mind. Adibhautika means like through other living entities, and Adidevika means the uh, the celestial influence. Okay, so Yudhishthira Maharaj says, the left side of my body, thighs and arms and eyes are quivering. Mm. So if you see these bodily omens, these omens are, these very greatly discussed even in Ramayana also, even in Mahabharata also, and like how, like when Lord Ram, when Lord Ram was, when Sita Devi was kidnapped, she was about to, end her life because of despair, because of Ravana being torturing her, trying to influence her. She doesn't want to get polluted, so she thought of committing suicide when she was in um, Ashok Vatika. So at that point of time, this woman that, for it is said that for men, left side is inauspicious. So any querying and any palpitation on the left side is means something bad is going to happen. But any querying and any palpitation on the right side means right eye querying, or thighs, anything, any agitation in the right side is a good sign. Mm. So in the case of Sita Devi, her left eye was quivering. For women, left side is considered to be the auspicious thing. So her left eye was quivering. That, I think it's right. For women, it is left side. I'm not sure, but okay. So some omen, okay, some omen she observes, okay, and she actually cancels her attempt to do that. Then Hanuman see that, and Hanuman then carries this message to her. So even like Lord Ram also, when he was going to battlefield, it is said that very auspicious animals are passing towards his right side, and for uh, Ravana, auspicious animals like cows are passing towards his left side. So these are like omens. This, according to Vedic scriptures, they design, they actually predicts how things will happen. So, and my heart palpitated due to fear, like if you do anything wrong or something is going wrong, we will have that strong feeling that something inauspicious, something is going bad. Mm. So that heart can palpitate in due to two reasons: one due to joy, or due to fear, or due to resentfulness. So when the heart palpitates due to joy, means it's a good omen, something good is going to happen. But when the heart palpitates due to fear, or not due to some bad feeling, then it is something bad is going to happen. So animals like jackals howling at the sunrise and vomiting fire, dog barking fearlessly, and cows passing in my left side, and asses are circumambulating me, and my horses are weeping. Mm. So this is what Yudhishthira Maharaj is observing in the animals. Okay, and the birds like pigeon are like messengers of death. Okay, basically he is like, pigeons are messengers of peace, right? But here, due to this bad this situation, pigeons are appearing like messengers of death. Okay, and owls and their rival crows make my heart tremble. And how, like, he also observed some omens in the Panchabhutas: smoke in the sky, mountains. He observed smoke in the sky, mountains trembling, and clouds thunder. Wind blows violent. So when we see cloud thunder, means like when it rains, thundering will happen. But this kind of omen, when a when a thundering happens even without rain, means it is a bad omen. Okay, and winds blow violently, and the violently, and clouds rain blood. Okay, now there are many situations, right? When Hiranyakashipu and Hiranyaksha took birth, actually cloud has rained blood, means there was a rain of blood. Okay, and also sun's rays are declining, and stars appear to be fighting or confused, and living entities appear ablaze. Okay, and the rivers, tributaries, ponds, and reservoirs, and the mind are perturbed. Okay, and ghee no longer ignites fire. Hmm. So these are also omens, like, no, like when we are doing some puja or something like that, this can be observed. No, like uh, ghee does not light up the fire, or some if you see, like, it is very inauspicious to see any insects in the temple home, in the temple, because it represents some tamogun. Okay, and the cattle, the calves do not suck the uh, teats of the cow, nor do the cows give milk, and bulls take no pleasure in pasturing grounds. Mm. And then he comes to the celestial things. Okay, deities seems to be crying in the temple, lamenting and perspiring. They seem they seem about to leave. Okay, so if you see now, like deities in the temple are lively. If, like, they actually, their expression changes at every moment when you clearly see. Okay, so we should be very watchful about that also when you are serving the deities. Okay, and the places like all cities, villages, towns, gardens, mines, and hermitages are now devoid of the beauty and happiness. Mm. So if you see, like, when this can be clearly observed. Sometimes if you go to some places, those places seem to be very gloomy, very dull, and but but if you go to some other places, the places itself will have that kind of joy, and such a beauty, and such a in the entire environment itself. Mm. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is observing everything. Mm. So wherever he sees all the inauspicious omens everywhere. Okay, so and he was discussing about all these things. So it said that these disturbances indicate some great loss. It seems that world has lost his fortune of being marked with the lotus feet of the Lord. So Yudhishthira Maharaj, he actually for predicts this incident of Lord Krishna leaving the earthly planet. Mm. So and means that's what he. This is a discussion between Yudhishthira Maharaj and his brother Bhimasen. So while Yudhishthira Maharaj was contemplating on all the ill omens, Arjuna returned from the Dwaraka and bowed at his feet. Yudhishthir saw Arjuna dejected, grieving like never before, with his head down and tears gliding from the lotus eyes. So if you see, if something bad happens, and if you want to appear in front of your dear ones, who is also related to that incident, here in this case, Krishna is very dear to Arjuna and Krishna is very dear to Yudhishthira Maharaj. And Arjuna know what has happened, and he was about to, he don't know how to reveal that fact to Yudhishthira Maharaj. So he actually, comes in front of Yudhishthira Maharaj with so dejected heart, and his tears were gliding from the eyes of Arjun. Arjuna was very sensitive person actually. If you see in Mahabharata also, Arjuna was, even though he's a Kshatriya, he's a very sensitive person. So he's due to, because he already know what has happened. So he appeared in front of Yudhishthira Maharaj. That was his situation. So seeing Arjuna pale and anxious, Yudhishthira Maharaj, remembering the indication of Narada Muni, questioned him in the presence of his friends. Okay, so Yudhishthira Maharaj was expecting what has happened. Means he almost know what has happened, because he is seeing the omens and he also predicted that, and also he is seeing Arjuna like that, who has come from Dwaraka. See, if any relative comes to see you after a long time, what you expect is a joy of reunion. Means like meeting together with loved ones. Okay, that joy was not at all seen on the face of Arjuna. We see that how Dwarkavasis were very happy welcoming Arjuna, and how welcoming Krishna, and how Krishna was very happy to come back to Dwarka also. So, but that joy of reunion was not to be seen on the face of Yudhishthir Maharaj. Arjuna. So now Arjuna, Yudhishthir Maharaj knows what, like he actually expected, and he is actually seeing everything relevant to that, but at the same time he doesn't want to directly go to that point. So anything, like if you are expecting something like bad, you should not directly jump into that thing. Okay, so we should see all the possibilities first. Okay, so then he started questioning Arjuna. Maharaj started questioning Arjuna. Yudhishthira Maharaj asks about the welfare of all other relatives. He asks the relatives of Yadu family, and also like grandfather like Surasena, Vasudeva, and all his brothers, and all his aunts, Vasudev's wives, and he asks the welfare of Ugrasena, all the Akrura, Jayada, all those relatives. Why he didn't directly inquire about Krishna? Because like before inquiring Krishna, it is better to inquire about all others, because if you first inquire about Krishna, then the discussion related to Krishna will be endless. There is no point of ending them, and nobody likes to end them. So before going to Krishna, he actually inquired about all other relatives. And it is due respect, it is the way of respect, showing our due respect to, it is Yudhishthir's way of showing respect to others. Okay, and after inquiring all about them, then Yudhishthira Maharaj inquires about Krishna also. So after after that, Yudhishthira Maharaj asks about Krishna. He says, this is a nice verse, no? Bhagavan api Govindo, verse number 34. Bhagavan api Govindo, Brahmano Bhakta Vassala, Kaschit Pure Sudharmayam, Sukam Aste Suhrudratan. He says, is Lord Govinda, the giver of pleasure for the cows and the senses, who is kind to Brahmanas and affectionate to his devotees, enjoying in Sudharma assembly hall in Dwaraka, surrounded by his friends. This the assembly hall of Sudharma, assembly hall of Krishna or Ugrasena in Dwaraka is called Sudharma Palace. It is actually given by Indra himself to the Krishna. Okay, so it is said that everybody in that palace will be rightly situated in the dharma, and nobody can tell lies while in that palace, like that, in that assembly. So and he inquires, then also Yudhishthira Maharaj inquires about Balram, and also the and also Krishna and Krishna's queens, and the other great heroes in the Yadu dynasty. So these are very pleasurable topics, like discussion about Krishna and his other friends is like a pleasurable topic for any relative, like if you talk about, if you are talk about your friends, if you want to, if anybody inquires about how is your this brother doing, how is your that uncle doing, then you will be very happy and excited to discuss about them. mm, because they are very close to our heart, and also we like to speak about them. Mm. So even though Yudhishthira Maharaj inquired about Krishna and everyone, then Arjuna should be excited to talk about all those things. But still, Arjuna was still dejected. No expression of happiness seen on his face, and he was still maintaining the same demeanor. So seeing this, now Yudhishthira Maharaj asked Arjuna about his personal well-being. Okay. So Yudhishthira Maharaj asks, "How is your health? Is your health all right?" No. So this Yudhishthira Maharaj is actually checking with all other possibilities before going to the higher things. Okay. First, he inquired about all the relatives. No. If everybody is good, then he says, "Okay, let me check if his personal reasons also." Okay. So is your health all right, or did somebody disrespected you because you stayed no for so long in Dwarka? When we go to any other relative's place, so it is said that relative in the first 2 days, the way he treats you will be way different than when you stay for a few months, because he will your guest, your host will develop familiarity with you, and also you will be burdensome for their privacy or something like that. Okay. So that's why sannyasis or spiritual masters, they don't visit they don't visit any place for they don't stay in any place for fixed amount of that no good, long amount of time. No. So but this is not applicable for everybody, but in many cases, okay, in the materialistic level, nobody can treat every other person with respect in longer for longer time. That is the nature of the mind also. It will develop familiarity. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking that, were you disrespected or neglected for your long stay in Dwaraka? Or were you addressed in unfriendly words? If somebody insults us also, that pain stays. Okay. Especially somebody who is very whom we love very much, if that person speaks anything harsh at us, that is very painful also. Okay. And also, did you fail to give charity? This is a good point actually. If you fail to give charity to any deserving person, it is actually it is we should be very sorry about the situation, because like it is a duty as a grihastha that one should give charity, one should give uh, uh, if like not only grihastha, anybody who possesses anything. mm, if for suppose in the case of brahmanas, what they possess the wealth of knowledge. They should be shared among the whoever wherever there is requirement. Somebody who doesn't have knowledge and somebody who is asking you, you should share with them. And it is in the case of kshatriyas will have material wealth as well as of power also to give protection. So if somebody comes for the protection to a kshatriya and he failed to protect them, it is a discrepancy on his part. Okay. And he should be sorrowful about the situation. Uh, and also the Vaishyas will have material wealth. So they should share whatever they have to with others. And then, so if we fail if we fail to do any of those things, now if you compare to Sudras wealth is their service. So their ability to do service is the wealth of the Sudras. So any discrepancy or any like if you fail to render and if you fail to give charity to others, then we should be very sorrowful about the situation. So that's why Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking, hmm, did you give charity or have that did you fail to give charity that you have promised? Okay. And you could not protect the deserving candidates, brahmanas and children and cows. who and cows and women who needs to be protected. So our Vedic culture is takes a very good care about these four actually: the brahmanas, the children, the cows, and women, and the deceased persons. They needs to be protected by all means. Mm. So the laws of the government or laws of any organization has to be in line with this statement, because they should take into consideration for the protection of the children, the brahmanas, the cows, and the women, and the person who is deceased. Okay. And then he asked, have you contacted a woman of impeachable character? Mm. And have you improperly treated a deserving woman? Or have you been defamed by somebody who is inferior or equal to you? So actually, one nice experience is like, one of the devotee in some his center, like in his some temple, he shared how should be our dealing with women who is not our relative, because like not even our relatives also, like we should not act in a very familiar way. Okay, like he says, like if a queen, if it, like for suppose you gave the example, he's a westerner. He says if Queen Elizabeth comes and comes to you, and you don't go very close to her, you maintain a good amount of distance, and you actually, that is maintaining good distance and talking only whatever is required, or answering any question whatever is uh, answer asked, is the way of respecting a women. So that is but if you talk unnecessarily, or if you go very closer to them, so that is a way of respecting women in the Vedic culture also. We should not do that. And he also asked about defeated by somebody who is inferior or equal to you. That is because Arjuna is a kshatriya. He's a very particular about his winning in a war. Okay. Or and also in the next sloka he says, have you taken your meals alone without feeding the elders and children? Mm. So taking a meal alone is also not a good practice in the Vedic system. Like they whenever any grihastha before taking meal, he invites anyone who is hungry or anybody who needs to be fed. But this practice is not quite followed right now. But it's actually that conveys that we give preference to serving others rather than serving ourselves first. Okay. And then he asks, have you committed some abominable or unpardonable mistake? So when Yudhishthira Maharaj is asking all these questions, hmm, then he was thinking that Arjuna was not opening up himself, and Arjuna does not want to say by himself, start himself, because Arjuna was already grief stricken. So he was not able to open up himself. So Yudhishthira Maharaj is, by putting all these questions, trying to get the question from that the whatever the information he required from Arjuna from him. So, and then finally Yudhishthira asked Arjuna, Yudhishthira asked, are you feeling empty due to losing your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna? I can think no other reason after you, no other reason for your dejection. So after inquiring all those things, Yudhishthira finally comes to the point. Okay. So this is like he was beating around the bush all the time, because he knows what he didn't directly jump onto the main point, but he was trying to check with all other possibilities, because that is a way of receiving this, anything something bad. Okay. We should not directly come to directly jump to the, if somebody is doing something bad, we should fight first, or something you know, bad is happened, and we should actually indicate them, and then finally this will prepare their mind, and if it, their and then uh, when they are nicely prepared, then it is good to deliver the news also. So if you see the entire in this chapter, actually there is a nice leadership principle also. Like Krishna came to establish dharma on this planet. So he actually that he actually killed many demoniac people while fighting with Jarasandha. He killed Jarasandha, attacked 17 times. Every time he brought 23 Akshohinis of demoniac people to Krishna. So and he killed all I think 16 he killed all the demonic persons, and then left only Jarasandha alone to go and fetch more demonic people. And then he personally did that, and in order to glorify the Pandavas, he actually enacted the Kurukshetra war, which is a fight between Pandavas and Kauravas. And he established Yudhishthir Maharaj as the ruler. And then Krishna, uh, like in order to no, in Srimad Bhagavatam, in the 10th canto, it will comes. Krishna was also thoughtful that he cannot live alone. So he first sends all his family members ahead of time. First he goes to Vrindavan and he sends them back to spiritual world, and then he comes to Dwaraka, and then because Dwaraka in Yadu dynasty they were very powerful, and no other person will be able to kill them. So what they did, Krishna has enacted a pastime so that Yadu dynasty will eliminate each other, means due to internal quarrel. And then after everything is done, then Krishna actually he leaves this planet and goes back to spiritual world. So as it is a duty of a leader to not only lead any organization or any system, but also have to plan a successor, no, able successor, the qualified successor. So that is the, then only that leadership will have the 100% what do you call, that is 100% leadership, means that leadership, the complete leadership means not only lead to the victory, but in order to maintain that victory, we have to have a able successor who is going to take up that position of leading the organization or a family or anything. That's why in a family they always look for a son who can lead the family, or if you in a kingdom who can like a king will be very desperate to have a son so that he will be taking the position, or any qualified successor. And so Krishna has established Krishna's duty. Krishna as his duty, Krishna has done. He established Yudhishthira Maharaj as the emperor of the whole world. So and then he left the planet. Now Yudhishthira Maharaj is now Yudhishthira Maharaj is now the leader. So he actually now after taking this message how what has happened, then he will take action accordingly. So Yudhishthira Maharaj establishes Parikshit Maharaj, who is also able leader, and he actually uh, you know, he leaves the kingdom. We will discuss that in the next chapter. So and one more interesting factor is Pandavas has it indicates that Pandavas has no desire for material sense enjoyment, because they have the entire kingdom, entire planet for their disposal to enjoy anything. But they only wanted to serve Krishna. This only happened after 35 years of they won Kurukshetra battle of Kurukshetra. So they only enjoyed it for very few years, and then they just wanted to they did the needful in this earthly planet, and then they just retired from their family life or administrative life, and then uh, they established Parikshit Maharaj as the emperor, and then we'll see discussion how Pandavas has retired in the next chapter. So that is all for from this chapter. If you have any questions or comments, you can discuss. I hope you are able to follow, right?
Yes, Prabhuji. Prabhuji, here the last Maharaj Yudhishthira is asking that um, are you feeling empty for all time because you might have lost your most intimate friend, Lord Krishna?
Yes.
So Maharaj Yudhishthira know now?
Yeah, he was predicting that, because he says in the next sentence is that I can think no other reason for your dejection, because he had tried everything that is possible. Because he, if you see the list, he personally he inquired about all the relatives. Arjuna did not respond, and he inquired about Lord Krishna. He didn't respond. Means, and then he inquired about his personal reasons. He didn't respond. So finally Yudhishthira Maharaj comes to this conclusion that no, something might have, like Krishna might have left. That's why Krishna Arjuna was so dejected. So that's the means like see already there was indication from Narada Muni, and also there was indication from all these omens that this Yudhishthira Maharaj was observing. Now he is coming to that conclusion. So he is just putting that question in front of Arjuna also.
Okay.
Okay, any more questions?